I have a beautiful meditation today for those of you who haven't been on in any of the meetings earlier this week. Up until this week, every time we have had an integrative practices session, I've provided, a new meditation, a new mudra, a new mantra of some kind, which means that our portfolio is totally bulging with technologies, which is cool, right? But I've also been a big proponent as a teacher and as a keeper of these life ways that you don't need 58,000 different techniques in order to have a sincere and engaging relationship with this way of coming home into the truth and into the reality of what is. You really just need one. So we've been trying to keep a kind of tight container this week. So to give you kind of the brief synopsis of what we've been unpacking, at the beginning of the week we really started to take a big lean into what it means for us as individuals and as a community of practice to listen in an honest, simple, elemental kind of way, and in a way that allows us to get into a space within ourselves and into, under a big community tent that doesn't have artifice, it doesn't have facade, and it doesn't have airs. And so I'd like for us to really continue to hold on to that today as we move into the heart of the practice. But I want to share something that I came across yesterday before I actually give you the practice and we go into it. We're going to do one practice today in a kind of duration style, which means that you might feel tired, you might feel challenged by it, but those moments of feeling exhausted or challenged, or I dare say even irritated or annoyed by the meditation, those moments are always the great turning moments, right? We can be confident that every time that we experience any shred of breakdown, and feeling irritated or annoyed is an iteration of breakdown. When we experience a breakdown, the other side of that coin is always breakthrough, right? So before I give you this grandmother teaching, I want to just remind you, that in the medical world, we know that there's 16,000 or more diagnoses for illness. 16,000, that's a ton, right? And so what that means, from the lens of the law of equal energy, if there's 16,000 diagnoses for disease, that there's got to be that many diagnoses or definitions at the very least, for infinite love, for infinite joy, for boundless empathy, and for a kind of incorruptible equipoise. These are the four golden keys that I've been discussing in this week's IP sessions: infinite love, infinite compassion and empathy, infinite joy, and infinite equipoise. Those help us to access a kind of vast awareness that enables us to see self as other all the time. So some of you may be aware that one of the ways in which I have personally found wisdom is by listening to the elders. And I came across this yesterday, and I just want to read this to you because it's so simple, and it's grandmother wisdom. It's so simple, and it's so true. It's so completely true. You hear me in integrative practices talk very commonly about how the head and the heart and the hara and the hands are all connected as a web, right? Head, heart, hands, and hara. And so we explore this when we do qigong all the time, but we can explore it really from any angle of inquiry as practitioners. So, we have been dealing with a lot of pain on a lot of different levels as a species right now. And so it's really my big prayer that today's meditation will help you to return to a kind of organic innocence, a kind of joy that is very innocent. And so this is a granddaughter asking her grandmother about pain. Grandma, how do you deal with pain? With your hands, dear. When you do it with your mind, the pain hardens even more. Yes, our hands, Grandma, and Grandma says yes, with your hands. Your hands are your antennae for the soul. When you move them by sewing or cooking or painting or touching the earth or sinking them into the earth, they send signals of caring to the deepest part of you, and then your soul can calm down. And in that way, the soul doesn't have to send pain anymore to send its message. Are the hands really that important, Grandma? Yes, my girl. Think of the babies. They get to know the world through their touches. And think about how when you look at the hands of old people, their hands tell more about their lives than any other part of their body. Everything that is made by hand, it is said, is made with the heart, because it really is like this. The hands and the heart are connected. Massage therapists know this, that when they touch another person's body with their hands, they create a deep connection. Think of lovers. When their hands touch, they touch each other in the most sublime way. Oh, Grandma, my hands, I haven't used them like this in so long. And Grandma says, move them, my girls. Start to create with your hands. Move them, and everything in you will move. The pain will not necessarily pass away, but it will become the best masterpiece. And it won't hurt anymore, because you have managed to, as she says, embroider your essence. I love this. I love how simple, these are the words of Elena Barnaby. I love how simple it is. Grandmother wisdom is almost always simple, almost always connected to the earth, and almost always applicable, and therefore very relevant. So what does that mean for us in integrative practices? How do we deal with our pain? With our hands. So I want to give you a special mudra that I haven't actually taught to you. This is a powerful, very beautiful mudra. This is Abhaya Hridaya Mudra. It's the Fearless Heart Seal. It's a fearless heart seal. So what happens to us at the level of our psyche, psychologically and somatically, behaviorally? What happens to us when we make a field shift out of being in the freeze frame of fear? Well, our hearts become more compassionate, and our hearts become more heroic. It's the heroic heart that we're endeavoring into. So we're going to use a new mudra. I've taught, this will be the third mudra of the week. We started with the swan meditation, which is for establishing a continuity of equanimity in the meditative mind. We started here. And then yesterday we worked with a mudra for consistent change and being able to be the revolving still point with that, okay? So for today, we're going to use the same mantra, but we're going to have a new mudra. This is a good one, guys. This is a good one. So listen in. I'm going to cross my hands. I've got my right arm in front, and I'm going to twist my pinky fingers. And then I'm going to twist my middle fingers, and I'm going to twist my index fingers together. So I've locked my hands together in this way. Now I'll take my ring fingers and conjoin them with my thumbs. So once you get in there, you want to create a little tiny bit of pressurization. So you're using your hands to deal with your pain. And even if you're like, you know, I'm feeling really like I'm registering high on the blissfulness meter, this is still a great, great, great tool to have in the belt, okay? So this is, again, it's the heart seal for fearlessness. So anytime we can ping out of the cramp of fear, out of that little hamster wheel, then we become more centered in our heroic nature, which is, if you ask me, one of our original natures. So you're going to hover this over your heart. All week we've been working with the Ek Ong Kar Sat Nam Siri Wa He Guru mantra, okay? Let me just quickly turn on some background sound current for us. All right, here we go. So we're going to stay in this for the next almost 20 minutes. Remember, it's going to make you feel a little intense at some point. Use that, alchemize through it, okay? So creating the mudra, Pinky fingers woven. If you've broken it, I'm going to talk you through it again. Pinky fingers woven, middle fingers woven, index fingers woven, and then conjoin the ring fingers with the thumbs. One of my favorites. Abhaya Hridaya Mudra. So we're going to just take these first couple of moments to settle into the sensations of what's moving after having made this design with the hands. Okay, so take some really deep breaths and settle into the address of your physical body. May today's meditation be a kind of iconoclastic deconditioning of all the beliefs, concepts, and opinions that keep us as human beings stuck in a closed universe. May we cut to the chase. May we navigate around the traps and therefore radiate magnificent love. May we dissolve the facade. May we renounce our entanglements. May we come home into being fully alive, flourishing in spontaneity without even the slightest air of being anything other than joy, love, empathy, and equanimity. Without even the slightest air of being anything other than that. So before we start the mantra, I want to read to you a beautiful quote that a man who I've learned a great good amount from, Daniel Odier. This is what he has to say about authentic joy. And again, that's what we're holding space for in today's meditation. A return to an organic innocence that is authentic joy. He says, authentic joy is a space where everything can become manifest. A permanent display of fireworks that does not garishly taint the sky, but allows us to discover that it has no limits. Joy does not tolerate half measures. One cannot be partially joyous. When joy does not take over the whole being, it is only one of the masks of happiness. Joy implies creativity and the courage of freeing oneself of many of our own concepts and conditioning. And one can only access it through steadfast fearlessness. So here we are, steadfast fearlessness. Join in with the mantra as soon as you can. This is going to lift life force through all of the major epicenters in your physical body and create a harmonization and a purification so that you can trust who you are even more than you did prior to starting today's meditation, hopefully. Join with me. Tongue to really enunciate the seed syllables, the sounds that are making things move in your psychology. Inhale. Ek onkar. Inhale, let the eyes stay closed down. Sat Nam. Organic innocence, organic joy, authentic joy. Inhale. Yek onkar. Sat Nam. the seal of fearlessness within the heart, this mudra that you are making. Inhale wholeheartedly. Sounds like. Let it penetrate every cell to the center of every cell. Inhale. Joy take over your whole being. Joy does not tolerate half measures. Go deep into it. Let it go deep through you. Chase, navigating around the traps, radiating magnificent love. Centered in your neutrality, inhale. Pressurization in the heart seal of the hands. Feel what you have created. Flourishing in spontaneity. final moment of sincere observation of the mudra that you have constructed. Taking fear energy and using that energy constructively. It's the law of equal energy. May we always, as practitioners, remember that yes, we can choose to be masters of the external world, and in many ways this is asked of us, and this is a requirement for surviving and thriving in our modern world. But as a practitioner, you are the guru, the wahe guru. You are the one who is capable of removing your own darkness and transcending the limitations and accessing a most remarkably inclusive awakening. Release the mudra, which should feel very powerful when you bring the hands away from one another after such a long sustain. I want to share with you before I let you free into the weekend, the rest of your day first. This is a beautiful native prayer from North America. As a young anthropology student, I learned so much from the Native American peoples of North America, and this is a beautiful, beautiful prayer called Earth Teacher. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me suffering as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me humility as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach me caring as the mother who secures her young. Earth, teach me courage as the tree which stands alone. Earth, teach me limitation as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the autumn. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seeds which rise in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets itself. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep in the rain. And so from this rainy, late morning here on the Isthmus of Madison, Wisconsin, I wish all of you guests who have joined our session today the greatest of metta, loving kindness, and may you carry those keys close to your heart, to your fearless, compassionate, heroic heart, the keys of love and joy and empathy and equanimity. Thank you all so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take very good care. Take it easy. Sat Nam. Namaste.